So you've got your smart campaigns started and you want to begin to assess how they're performing. Of course, it's only natural, but if you're going to get a really clear idea of how your smart campaigns are performing, then you need to understand the 3 phases of smart campaigns, which is exactly what we're going to cover in this video. Before we dive into those 3 phases though, it's important to note that you won't see any changes inside your campaigns for at least 4 days. These smart campaigns need to gather data in order to make decisions upon, and so you need to be patient in that first period to wait that amount of time just to start seeing any changes. But then once you do, we're going to dive into these 3 phases of the smart campaigns. These 3 phases are learning, calibrating, and scaling. Let's take a look first at the learning phase of the smart campaigns. This is the phase that just gets you started. It's when you've got under 30 orders for these campaigns, and it's a time period that is going to cover roughly 1 to 4 weeks. In this time period, it's totally normal to see a high ACoS fluctuation. You may set your target ACoS at 25% or 30%, but it's likely that you're going to see it above that as these smart campaigns begin to optimize and calibrate, find the right bid levels, find the right keywords, and so on. Now, as I say, average time is this is going to take between 1 to 4 weeks, but of course that does depend on your budget. The higher the budget, the more orders that are coming through the smart campaigns, the more data there is going to be to assess. So it is variable, but this is a guide we like to give. So it's going to be lots of fluctuation to begin with, but moving into phase 2, the calibrating phase, this is where the smart campaigns are beginning to understand bid levels, keywords, the right kind of levels to be setting things at. And this is going to be taking place from orders approximately 30 to 100 sales that have been achieved through the smart campaigns. This is going to begin to be a lot of data that these campaigns can utilize in order to hone in, calibrate, and find a level that is closer to that target ACoS you're looking for. Generally speaking, this usually takes around 5 to 10 weeks. So you can see in this first 10 weeks, you're going to have to be patient with the system and understand that it is doing its job to learn and progress, and it is trying to create something for you that is scalable. And of course, that brings us to phase 3, which is the scaling phase. This is where the campaigns have honed in, they have optimized, and they have found the right bid levels and keywords that can really be majored upon that allows this campaign or set of campaigns to be scaled. We're looking here at over 100 orders. Generally speaking, this is going to take 10 plus weeks in order to achieve. But of course, be sure to remember that the length of each phase is highly dependent on your budget and order volume. These are average times only to give you a guide. But hopefully this shows you the 3 phases of smart campaigns, and that you need to be able to go through those phases in order to be able to get to the scaling phase, which gives you the relatively hands-off campaigns that are running in the background, continuing to produce profitable orders for your business. As we finish this tutorial, it's important to note that you avoid making any manual changes to your ACoS goal in the learning and calibrating phases. Doing so generally is going to lead to a poorer performance as these campaigns try and calibrate in. So avoid making changes to that ACoS goal. Try and be patient and stick with it to see the results of the scaling phase. However, if you would like to progress your campaigns to that phase faster, then we are going to cover that in a couple of tutorials time. We're going to look at speeding up the learning process, so make sure to check that tutorial out. Before we do get to that one though, we're going to do one more tutorial, which is around key shopping days, seasonality, and making sure that you make the most of those. So join me in that one.